Before the plane took off, I accidentally overheard a conversation between two girls sitting in front of me. Who are you talking about? Your boyfriend is Jet Gu. Don't be ridiculous. Someone of his status is way out of my league, and they have a great relationship with their wife, so stop bragging. I don't have time for your nonsense. The questioned girl snorted coldly, then took out her laptop and opened a folder named Boyfriend. Don't believe me, see for yourself. We've been together for 6 months now, and honestly, he's nothing like the person in those finance magazines. With that, the girl gave a shy smile, her expression hinting at something more. Wait, you mean the real Jet Gu? How did you two even meet? Asked about their love story. The girl couldn't help but beam with pride. You know me, my family situation isn't good. I have younger siblings to take care of, and my mother is bedridden, to support my family and earn tuition. I often have to juggle part-time jobs. I met Jet Gu at the bar where I worked part-time, and our boss even helped introduce us. After we got familiar, Jet Gu started asking me out in all sorts of ways, not only sending me flowers and diamonds, but last time, he even organized that solo art exhibition for me, including this trip to France. He paid for it too. How about it? Not bad, right? Do you want me to introduce his friends to you as well? As she finished speaking, her friend beside her sighed and remarked, No, I don't need that. It's pretty obvious you're being financially supported by someone. I advise you to turn back before it's too late, otherwise, you won't be able to handle the consequences in the end. Besides, you're just the other woman after all. Do you really expect him to abandon his wife and children for you? What a joke. Boss Gu is only with you because you're pretty and fun, a novelty that'll wear off in a couple of days. Sooner or later, he'll dump you. Hearing such words, the girl immediately became unhappy. Don't you believe it? The Mr. Gu you're talking about has long been completely under my control. Getting him to divorce is just a matter of me saying a couple of words. Then, the next second, she took out her phone and made a call. The call was answered instantly. Who is this? Hearing the cold tone of the male voice, she immediately pretended to act spoiled, pouting coquettishly. Jet Gu. Don't you love me anymore? Can't even recognize my voice? I knew it. You're just a two-faced scumbag. I'm never talking to you again. At that moment, I heard words Jet Gu had never spoken to me before. No, baby. I was just in a meeting and didn't notice it was your call. I'm sorry. It's my fault. What do you want as compensation? A bag or jewelry? I'll buy it for you. By the way, didn't you say you wanted to hold your own exhibition in Paris? I've already arranged for someone to prepare it. I'll take you there myself next time, and you can arrange the paintings however you like. I've also invited many renowned masters, including those you've always admired. They're all on the guest list. So, darling, please don't be angry anymore, okay? With each sentence the man spoke, the girl's expression grew more smug, and the friend beside her was even more shocked, including me, after seeing this unknown side of Jet Gu. I felt waves of chill in my heart, until the girl uttered an extremely arrogant remark. Her friend instantly screamed, Are you crazy? How dare you approach Luxie? She's Jet Gu's lawfully wedded wife. Don't go too far, okay? Even if we're best friends, it doesn't mean I can tolerate you going after someone's spouse. Can you just behave? I don't want to see you in the news one day. The girl was smug, completely disregarding her friend's advice, and even bragged more blatantly. What? Are you scared? I said I could make Jet Gu divorce for me, and I will definitely make him divorce for me. Just wait and see. When I rise to fame and fortune, I won't forget you. After that, they stopped talking. But suddenly I received a message on my phone. When will you land? Lux, I'll send someone to pick you up. It was sent by Jet Gu. I replied, Don't you have time? Jet Gu responded instantly, I have a few meetings to attend. So I've arranged for Xiao He to wait for you at the airport. At the same time, the girl from earlier let out a happy exclamation. Ah, my boyfriend is coming to pick me up at the airport himself. Sweetie, you'll have to go back to school by yourself. As I got off the plane, sure enough, it was the familiar Xiao He holding a bouquet of lilies, standing by the car. From a distance, he waved at me and then took my suitcase and the scarf in my hand. Then, as usual, He started making excuses for Jet Gu. Madam, President Gu had some last-minute meetings added to his schedule and really couldn't find the time to pick you up. But Mr. Gu specifically instructed me to first take you to your favorite Cantonese restaurant for a bowl of soup, then to the luxury store for a quick browse before driving you home. I replied with an okay, and just before getting into the car, I heard Jet Gu's voice. How was your trip to France this time, sweetheart? Did you enjoy it? Where would you like to go next, Italy or Los Angeles? I looked up and saw Xiao He swiftly blocking my view with that bouquet of lilies. Madam, it's chilly outside. Please get in the car to warm up. I calmly took my seat in the car, only to hear the angry voice of a young girl behind me. I won't go. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to find Luxie, and I'll confess everything to her. If you don't dare to bring up divorce, I'll say it for you, FMPH. You stopped loving her long ago. She's been holding you back. Why should you endure a marriage without love? My heart aches for you, Jet Gu. We're the ones who truly love each other. The one who isn't loved is the real outsider. Please, just let her go. As she spoke, the girl began to cry. Even the usually composed and aloof Jet Gu was instantly thrown into disarray. He quickly tried to console her, saying, all right, I'll find time to bring up the divorce with her. Please don't cry, okay? After that, it seemed they exchanged a few more words, but Xiao He had already started the car, so I couldn't hear clearly. Just through the rearview mirror, I saw them embracing and kissing. At 8 in the evening, Ju Hung suggested throwing a welcome dinner for me. He's famously known in the circle as a playboy. While he claimed the gathering was for me, in reality, he just wanted an excuse to bring all those beautiful men and women together. And it was only after meeting him that Jet Gu developed the habit of keeping songbirds. At first, I turned a blind eye. That's what everyone around me was saying. In circles like ours, it's common for men to keep mistresses, as long as it doesn't affect the interests of both families. As long as the man doesn't bring up divorce or splitting assets, there's no need to make a big fuss. Some even said that we women could learn to be as carefree as the men. Otherwise, living in such dire straits and waiting day after day, life would simply be unbearable. Including my mom, though she didn't focus on finding a younger boyfriend, she found other pleasures, that is, playing mahjong with a group of wealthy ladies, where winning and losing are just part of the game. She often advised me, since things have come to this, there's no need to hold on. If you can divorce with grace, then do it. If you can't be carefree, at least clear your mind a little and let in some fresh air, lest you stretch yourself too tight and end up making yourself sick. I didn't follow her advice to find another man, partly because work at the company was too hectic. I had just taken up the position and was truly overwhelmed, and then, it was purely my own wishful thinking, like a foolish woman. I believed Jet Gu was just playing around and wouldn't take any woman he'd just met seriously, but in reality, things don't always go the way I want them to. He was genuinely moved. This marriage has reached a point where I feel somewhat out of control. I've always been the type to run headfirst into walls. Only by hitting them hard enough to bleed will I finally give up. Since it has truly come to this, be it marriage or love, if you cannot be loyal to me alone, then, simply forget it. Jet Gu made an excuse that he had something to do and couldn't attend my welcome dinner, but just as it was about to end, he still showed up. However, the first thing he did after arriving wasn't to come find me. Instead, in front of everyone, he grabbed Ju Hung by the neck and dragged him to the bathroom. I had just finished an online meeting when I overheard their conversation. Ju Hung, things have gotten out of hand. Ella Shu insists on going to find Luxie. And I can't calm her down no matter what I do. Didn't you say that someone like her would be obedient with just a little money? Ella Shu's story is completely different from yours. She insists on confronting Luxie. What do you expect me to do? If it weren't for you pushing me to secretly keep a woman, I wouldn't be in this mess today. What should you do? You created this problem, now you fix it. Growing angrier, Jet Gu threw a punch at him. Ju Hung's nose instantly started bleeding. Naturally, Ju Hung wasn't one to take things lying down. He licked the blood with his tongue and then said with a smile, "Young Master Gu, others can manage both their lovers and their wives just fine, why can't you? Or is it that you've actually fallen for her, letting an undergrad girl wrap you around her finger? Jet Ji-yu remained silent, and those few seconds of silence gave Ju-hung his answer. He let out a disdainful chuckle and extended 2 fingers. Choose one, young Master Ji-yu. Which one do you want me to help you solve? Hearing this, Jet Ji-yu hesitated for a few seconds, looking at Ju-hung with a troubled expression. Ella Shu is very different. She gives me what Lux can't, and I'm very happy with her. But Lux has been with me for so long, even though it's an arranged marriage. We've developed feelings after all. Besides, she's truly outstanding in her work. She's helped me many times. To be honest, it's really hard for me to decide. Ju-hung said disdainfully. Got it, so you want both? Huh, no problem. This is child's play. Hearing the satisfactory answer, a smile finally appeared on Jet Gu's face. As he was about to turn back, his eyes suddenly widened in shock, and he froze in place. Ju-hung lit a cigarette and joked, "What's wrong? Has young Master Ji-yu taken a liking to another one? Let me see, is she prettier than Ella Shu?" Before Ju-hung could finish his sentence, he followed his gaze and looked over. Sister-in-law, I calmly responded with a then I closed the laptop and said, Ju-hung, you don't need to help him deal with me, I'll leave on my own. Then my gaze fell on Jet Ji-yu, still expressionless. I'll have my secretary arrange the divorce agreement tomorrow. Please take a look at it then. President Ji-yu, Lux, the first time I witnessed Jet Gu's infidelity with my own eyes, I had just returned home from working overtime. I called out the nanny's name several times. But there was no response. However, the faint clinking of glass could be heard from the bedroom upstairs. Just by the sound, I knew it was Jet Gu's favorite Bohemian crystal glass. Every time he mixes whiskey in a crystal glass, his fingertips swirl a delicate halo of light around the rim. He never uses them unless he's in an exceptionally good mood, only then taking them out to admire. As I walked up the stairs, I wondered if he had secured a new research project. Why else would he be so delighted as to bring out this set of glasses? But when I paused and peered through the door crack at the scene inside, my entire body froze as if encased in ice. The doll-like girl was wearing my Chanel nightgown, kneeling between Jet Gu's legs. Her fair legs were wrapped around his waist, and her fingers were playing with his tie. I took 2 steps back, staggering slightly before regaining my balance. Jet Ji-yu, always alert, quickly lifted the girl off him and rushed to my side upon hearing the noise. Lux, you're back. Didn't you say there's a shareholders meeting tomorrow and you'd sleep at the company? Indeed, that's what I said, but I was worried he wouldn't take good care of himself if his stomach trouble flared up. I made a last-minute decision to come back and cook him a bowl of porridge, waiting until he fell asleep before returning to the office to work overtime. All these years, whenever he fell ill, he could only stomach the meals I cooked for him. I've been so considerate of him. But what about him? Just to spend time alone with this woman, he actually lied to me. I couldn't hold back the anger in my heart and directly slapped him across the face. Jet Ji-yu, you weren't like this before. Holding back tears, I looked at him, trying to hear a reasonable explanation from his mouth, but he didn't offer one. There was only a fleeting moment of shame on his face, quickly replaced by an expression of self-justification. That was before, but now everyone does it. Look around, which entrepreneur doesn't have a few butterflies fluttering by their side? Besides, I only keep one, unlike your father, who has 3 domestically and 5 abroad. And what? Is the money I earn too little to support you? Must you mingle with other men in the world of fame and fortune, circling around a bunch of men every day, claiming it's for meetings what you're really up to? As a man, I know better than anyone. With a disdainful snort, he then roared, filled with resentment. Lux, I've given you enough face. I haven't forced you to stay home and tend to husband and children, nor have I forced you to give up your career. Considering how much I indulge you, can't you just bear with it like those other wives do? And look at what other wives are doing. What are you doing? Can't you reflect on yourself? The reason I seek other women outside is entirely because of you. What are other wives doing? Playing mahjong, shopping for bags and buying luxury goods, having children, raising children, and continuing to have and raise more children, and also raising children for the husband's mistresses. So, everyone is the same. I just didn't give up on my career. Am I being unconventional then? He didn't give me a clear solution. He just told me to reflect on my actions, and then he didn't come home for a long time. During this time, I kept hearing news about him taking his beloved woman to various banquets and parties. He even spent a fortune to open an art gallery for that woman. Every day, he would switch between luxury cars to pick her up and drop her off for classes. Let that woman put on enough of a show, made me lose all faith. The relationship between the two of them was like an open card, boldly displayed within their circle. But the funny thing is, no one found it strange. Instead, they took it as the norm. A certain lady said, the more dazzling and eye-catching the appearance, the more riddled with holes the relationship is. Just wait, your Mr. GU will soon grow tired of playing around. Within 3 months, he'll definitely dump that woman. As the wife of the GU family, you should think on a grander scale. Don't be so narrow-minded, it'll make you a laughingstock. Come on, we're short one player. Join us for a few rounds of mahjong first. I don't know how to play mahjong, but my mom is quite fond of it. She's famously fond of playing, staying out all day and night just to get in a few more rounds of mahjong. Even when she found out that I, too, had ended up in a marriage like hers, she even started laughing merrily, teasing me with a smile. Then let your mother teach you how to be the queen of the mahjong table. Listen, darling, marriage is just like a mahjong game. Whether you draw bad tiles or good ones, you must play the round with grace. Don't make the scene too awkward, lest others laugh at you. Come, let mom see your luck. Draw a tile for me. Then, my mom took my hand and drew a 9 of circles. Instantly, she burst into laughter. Hula, quick, hand over the money, haha. My daughter's hands are truly made for mahjong. Next, she actually tried to teach me how to play mahjong, but I had no interest in learning and lost all her money in just a few rounds. She wasn't angry, though, just looked at me with concern and said, it's just a pastime for killing time. If you can't learn it, forget it. If you have something else to divert your attention, then go do your own thing. Don't deceive yourself like the rest of us, living out the rest of your life this way. But at that time, I didn't understand what she meant, so as usual, apart from the company, I kept running around in the circles of wealthy wives. I thought if I could learn their mindset, perhaps my marriage could be stabilized too. If he's happy to seek women outside, then let him do so. As long as he knows to come home and remembers that I am his true wife, that's enough. However, for 6 months straight, I haven't heard any news of Jet GU getting tired of his affairs. He was even nicer to that woman. At this point, I panicked. When I asked those ladies again what I should do, they avoided my gaze and explained, I never realized your Mr. GU was such a devoted lover. If all else fails, just let him bring the other woman home. Such things are quite common in our circle. Just like your mother. When they mentioned my mother, they fell silent. They all pushed away their tiles, making excuses to go home. Now, seeing Jet GU struggling so hard to balance our relationship, I thought to myself, maybe it's better to let it go. I don't need to maintain this marriage any longer. I once said that as long as his scale would tip decisively in my favor, I could endure anything. But now it's clear that woman named Ella Shu has completely captivated him. I've been foolish for half a year, but I won't be foolish for a lifetime. Let's go our separate ways from now on. Upon learning that I agreed to the divorce, Ella Shu wasted no time in holding an art exhibition to celebrate. She invited many people from the industry, including me, who was also on the guest list. During the rainy season in Shanghai, the air was thick with sticky humidity. I stand by the floor-to-ceiling window of the Ella Shu gallery, watching the rain trickle down the glass and onto the ground. Inside the room, placed beside me, is a photo of Jet GU and Ella Shu kissing by the seaside. Apart from this one, the rest of the photos depict similar scenes. Either Jet GU has his arm around Ella Shu's waist, or the two are kissing beneath the grapevines of a private winery. Even on my wedding bed, in my swimming pool, and in my office, all have appeared in this art exhibition, young and full of arrogance. Ella Shu is adept at taking advantage and then acting innocent. It's hard not to feel annoyed when seeing this. How about it, Miss Cheng? Do you like my new art exhibition? Ella Shu looked at me provocatively, the sweet scent of freesia perfume wafting from her. She was wearing a mint green chiffon dress with an emerald gemstone around her neck, With just one glance, I recognized it as the one I had bought at an auction for $3 million 2 years ago. She had stolen my things so often. Yet this time she dared to wear them right in front of me. Without another word, I reached out and yanked the necklace off. Soon, a bright red mark appeared on her neck. Ella's shoe covered her neck in panic and let out a scream. "Luxie, this is my art exhibition. What do you think you're doing?" Instantly, all eyes turned toward us. I calmly walked to the trash bin and threw the broken necklace inside. How could you just throw it away? $3 million. Ella's shoe's table manners were truly appalling. She pushed Jet GU aside and hurried to the trash can to retrieve it. When she got it back, she let out a heavy sigh of relief. My eyebrows lowered as I looked down at her and said, "You want to steal the man? You want to steal the necklace? Do you really like trash that much?" Ella's shoe pretended not to understand my sarcasm. She turned and linked arms with Jet GU, continuing to stare at me with a provocative tone. "Don't you like these photos? They were all personally chosen for me by Mr. GU. Oh, no, I mean my husband." She deliberately emphasized the last sentence to make sure everyone knew Mrs. GU already had a new candidate. I smiled as I gently touched the edge of the photo frame. "You two are indeed a perfect match. But are you sure these photos won't become evidence in court?" Ella's shoe's face first showed confusion, then quickly turned pale. What do you mean?" I took out the USB drive from my bag, the one I had prepared to submit to the lawyer, and waved it in front of her. "Miss Shu, Jet GU and I are still married. This contains all the evidence of his infidelity during our marriage, including surveillance footage of you two at private clubs and underground parking lots, along with this perfect art exhibition. Everything can serve as evidence for me to make Jet GU leave with nothing." After saying this, I let out a cold laugh and mocked. "Do you really think the GU family is so powerful that they can still split assets equally after committing adultery during marriage? Maybe you should read more books. Every penny he spent on you, half of it belongs to me. The designer bags, clothes, and house I bought for you were all purchased with our marital assets, including this Prada sequin dress you're wearing right now. If I wanted to, you could walk out naked. But I don't want to see another woman exposing herself on the streets of Shanghai. Consider it my pity, a handout for you. As for the other money spent on you, you'll have to pay back every single cent." Ella Shu was clearly terrified by my aura. After all, she was just starting out young and pretty enough to manipulate Jet Gu's heart. "But you'll need more practice to handle me." Before leaving, I threw a divorce agreement in front of Jet GU. "Lux, let me explain," I cut him off. "What is there to explain? Explain how you used our shared assets to support a mistress outside, or explain why there are over a dozen large transfers in your bank records, with the recipient being a college student named Ella Shu. Or perhaps you'd like to explain why your personal doctor traveled thousands of miles just to treat the leg of a 60-year-old stranger in the countryside. Jet GU, you'd better quit while you're ahead. Don't force me to bring all the things you've done with her in private out into the open." There was a flicker of fear in his eyes, but it quickly gave way to his usual arrogance. "You think you can threaten me like this?" I said. "It's not a threat, it's a notice. Otherwise, these pieces of evidence will appear in major media outlets the next day. Those journalists would be thrilled to witness the fall of a legend, and what's more, the one who caused the legend's downfall is a female college student barely in her 20s. This would be enough to give other business elites something to laugh about for quite a while." As I spoke, I turned to Ella Shu and lowered my voice. "And the girl you love so dearly will be torn apart by the media and netizens. Every detail of how she seduced you, how she moved on top of you, will be exaggerated and compiled into a negative portrayal to be spread online. Didn't she want to hold an art exhibition and become a painter? Guess she'll never get that chance in this lifetime. Oh, by the way, you probably don't know this yet. Do you think a naturally gifted young painter has never touched a paintbrush with her fingers? If you don't believe me, ask her who actually created her most celebrated work, Bloom." Before Jet GU could even question her, Ella Shu was already flustered by these words. She rushed straight at a girl, gripping her shoulders and crying, "Was it you who said it? We're supposed to be best friends." "No, forget friendship. Wasn't my high price enough to keep your mouth shut?" If it weren't for me, your paintings couldn't even buy a cup of coffee in Shanghai." The girl she was gripping broke free from her wrist and shouted back at her, "I warned you long ago, you can't win against Lux he, you just wouldn't listen. And now you've brought this upon yourself, it has nothing to do with me." Ella Shu didn't respond to her words but instead asked directly, "How much did she give you?" The girl held up 3 fingers. 3 million. Ella Shu let out a bitter laugh. "Haha, fine, 3 million is all it takes to buy you off. Let's end our friendship here as well." Then, she guiltily glanced at Jet Gu. But at this moment, Jet Gu looked like someone who had just been through a major scam. He stared wide-eyed at Ella Shu, even his expression somewhat unnatural. I understood the emotions beneath his face. He felt humiliated, because just before this exhibition began, he had ostentatiously introduced it with several art world celebrities. This is Ella's most satisfying work. Each piece embodies her unique understanding of life. Taking Ella as a disciple would certainly be no loss. But now, this scene was a slap in his face. "Everyone, I'm sorry, Ella isn't feeling well." Jet Gu sensed that this farce couldn't be resolved. So he casually made up an excuse, "Not feeling well, or is it because you're afraid those shady secrets will be exposed to the public?" Jet Gu gave me a look, hinting for me to stop stirring up trouble. Of course, I paid no attention. How this farce would end was up to me. Then, I signaled to my assistant behind me, and suddenly a video began playing on the large screen. In the dimly lit studio, a young girl with 2 braids was wielding her brush with vigor, painting sunflowers identical to the piece displayed in the exhibition hall. Ella Shu sat beside them, scrolling through her phone while occasionally offering a few words of guidance. "Lux he, that's enough. How far are you going to take this? So what if Ella's work is fake? She's so young, of course she can make mistakes." Jet Gu shouted at me, and Ella Shu collapsed weakly to the ground. Clearly, Jet Gu had known all along that Ella Shu's work was fake, but he still protected her. The exhibition hall fell into silence because of his scolding, with only Ella Shu's sobs echoing in the air. I watched the scene before me with indifference. Originally, I had revealed Ella Shu's secret to humiliate her, but now it seems that perhaps I'm the one who's been humiliated. Watching them, despite their disheveled state, still so deeply in love with each other, my heart has indeed been cold for a long time. Finally, after all the guests had left, I slowly stood up. And their happiest group photo seemed to be mocking me. "Lost, didn't you?" I nodded, admitting defeat. "I just won't love anymore, that's all." When I pushed the property division agreement in front of my mother, outside the floor-to-ceiling window, the plane tree leaves were rustling in the autumn wind. The 28-page document was fastened with a brooch set with crushed diamonds. It was made from the wedding ring Jet Gu gave me. "Don't you think you're asking for a bit too much in the divorce settlement?" My mother adjusted her gold-rimmed glasses, her fingers gliding over the paper as a note of skepticism crept into her voice. Then she slowly unfolded those papers, each page inscribed with clause after clause. 49% equity of GU Corporation, leaving Jet GU with just 1%, 3 core office buildings under Gu's name, 7 ocean-going cargo ships all transferred to Lux his private trust fund. And Jet Gu's high-priced purchase of Ella Shu's painting, Bloom, now silently rests in my private gallery, slashed with countless knife marks. I twirled the titanium steel ring on my finger and calmly uttered 2 words, "Not much." My mother gave me a worried glance but didn't say anything more. I continued speaking. "I'm currently gathering evidence of the GU family's money laundering overseas. If all goes as planned, we should have a definitive answer by the second half of the year." My mother's fingers trembled as she held the teacup, splashing brown tea stains onto the compensation for emotional distress section of the agreement. It was filled in with 100 million yuan, the number followed by 7 zeros. My mother fell silent for a long while, studying me intently before finally speaking. "You look just like your father when he was young. Can't stand to lose even the slightest bit." She reached out to touch my head but froze the moment her fingers brushed against my hair. "Only, you're not like me. I don't dare to want anything. I don't dare to want anything at all." I put the agreement back into the safe. "So you vent your resentment by playing mahjong every day. The moment the cabinet door closed, my gaze grew even sharper. Mom, I never wanted the kind of life you've lived. Honestly, it's just awful. Go file for divorce with him. I'll take care of you from now on. Ella Shu's gallery hung out a sign saying closed for renovation. The paintings she had completed by ghostwriters were exposed as fakes by experts, and collectors who purchased them at high prices at auctions were jointly sued. The jewelry and diamonds Jet Gu once gave her were either returned to me or seized by the court to pay off debts. Someone captured a video of her being chased around the school. The Cartier bracelet was replaced with a cheap street stall trinket, her hair tangled like a ball of torn yarn. The cruelest irony was that she had once grown her hair long to imitate me. Now, most of it had been ripped out by creditors and strangers who despised mistresses, exposing patches of bloody, mangled scalp. Later, the sign in front of that street gallery changed from closed for renovation to for sale at a low price. A house originally priced at $5 million can now be bought for just $1 million. I decisively invested, as the gallery's location was indeed excellent. As a business person, it's only natural to seize such an opportunity when you see it, so I spent $1 million to buy it, but in the blink of an eye, Ella Shu returned that $1 million to me. After all, what she owes me is far more than that. After acquiring the property, I began extensive renovations. I transformed the originally cozy gallery into the Awakener art space. This is somewhat different from traditional exhibition venues. It feels more like a spiritual fortress and a space for social experiments. I've seen similar exhibitions in Paris before. The theme is about breaking the shackles of womanhood and pursuing self-identity. This is not just an art exhibition but more of an educational base for women's self-awareness and awakening, inspiring every woman to break free from the constraints of worldly emotions and rebuild a new life from the fragments. Yet Jet Gu, that once arrogant business prodigy, now lingers outside my conference room every day, trying to persuade me to leave him some leeway in business, not to push things to the extreme, but each time, I shake off his hand and then glance at him with utter disdain. Mr. Gu, now even glancing at you feels like a waste of time. Please don't come again. Okay, you destroyed your own way out with your own hands. What does it have to do with me? Why don't you follow the example of those bankrupt gentlemen and young masters, and take a stroll through underground casinos and adult bars? You might just find a way out. Jet Gu did indeed find a way out at an underground casino, but he wasn't there to gamble, he was there to borrow money. If he wanted to make a comeback, he'd need at least $50 million. The bank wouldn't lend to him, and his so-called friends couldn't scrape together that much money either. So, he went to borrow from an underground gambling den. My mother has a soft heart. When she found out Jet Gu was borrowing from those people, she came to the company to persuade me. Lux, after all, you were once husband and wife. He's really going through a tough time right now. You should help Jet. My mom has a very good impression of Jet Gu. The main reason is that when she suddenly had a heart attack, Jet Gu immediately called his personal doctor, saving my mom's life. Ever since then, the more my mom looks at this son-in-law, the more she likes him. Perhaps Jet Gu truly has what it takes to be an entrepreneur. After securing the high-interest loan, he made a remarkable comeback in just 3 months, everyone said. After all, Jet Gu was once at the peak of his success, he couldn't possibly fall so quickly. They also added, Lux, he is just a woman. The only reason she's thriving in the market now is because Mr. Gu has been lenient out of consideration for their past relationship. But now that Lux he has gone too far, Mr. Gu can no longer afford to show her any mercy. There are even those who, seeing Jet Gu's career back on track, would rather pay me a hefty penalty fee just to serve Jet Gu like a slave. I couldn't care less, so what? It's not like I'm short on his investment. However, Jet Gu isn't as triumphant as everyone thinks. I've inquired about his current situation. The money he earns isn't even enough to pay the interest on the loan shark's debt. Even Ella Shu, the classmate he once exclusively favored, couldn't afford to cover her 20,000 yuan tuition fee. That day, he was being chased by the loan shark's henchman. I met him in the wine cellar of the estate. He was hiding inside. Trembling with fear, according to the estate's butler, he had been hiding there for a week. It was out of gratitude for Jet Gu's past kindness that the butler helped conceal him from me, allowing Jet Gu to stay hidden. If I hadn't impulsively decided to grab a bottle of red wine, perhaps Jet Gu could have hidden a little longer. I stopped on the stairs in my high heels, looking down at him from above. Mr. Gu, please leave. This is a private winery and does not accept outsiders. Jet Gu looked haggard, pursed his lips, and spoke. I'm sorry, Lux. I never intended for things to turn out this way, I said with a cold voice. Right, you certainly didn't intend to. The image you're picturing is you with one arm around Ella Shu's waist and the other manipulating the entire stock market. You want both money and women. Isn't this exactly the scene you've been dreaming of? Even now, you've never once regretted meeting Ella Shu. What you regret is not hiding Ella Shu even deeper. After speaking, I cast one last look of disgust at him. Yet, still mindful of past affections, I let him stay for another month. The 365th day after the divorce, my mother sent a message. Are you coming home for dinner, sweetheart? My typing hand paused. As if I had thought of something, then I typed in reply, no, I have a business trip tomorrow. Actually, I don't have any business trips scheduled, I just don't want to see her. My mom still doesn't seem to understand what my divorce really means. She doesn't even get why I'm trying to persuade her to get divorced. She stubbornly insists on inviting Jet Gu home every day, trying to get us to remarry. She doesn't care that Jet Gu now has neither money nor power, nor any intention of repentance. She just wants life to return to how it was before. At first, I would argue with her about it, but now, I can't be bothered to deal with her anymore. Avoid if possible, stay away if I can. When I texted that I wasn't coming home, my mom sent another barrage of messages. Lux, are you sure you won't come back to see him? Jet truly knows he was wrong. Please be magnanimous and forgive him this once. He's promised me that he'll never make the same mistake again. And so what if he has no money or house? Don't you have them? People only need a bed to sleep in. Why do you need such a fancy house anyway? As long as you two have a good relationship as a couple, then everything is fine. Seeing how obsessed my mother was with Jet Gu, I decided to tell her the truth. Mom. Back then, Jet Gu's personal doctor was originally supposed to treat the young mistress my dad had just taken in. They partied non-stop for 3 days in the hotel. And that woman almost went into shock. My dad was worried someone might die, so he had Jet Gu send his private doctor to the hotel, but no one expected you'd suddenly have a heart attack nearby at the same time. Otherwise, how do you think his private doctor, who was all the way in Paris, suddenly appeared to save your life? Mom, can you please snap out of it? The men are all in cahoots, not a single decent one among them. Stop fawning over them, I'm begging you, for a long time. My mother didn't reply to me. Meanwhile, the assistant standing beside me cautiously spoke up. President Cheng, Madam is aware of this matter. Well, it seems I've meddled in others' affairs again. I turned off my phone and wiped away the last tear from the corner of my eye. Love is the only light that illuminates life. This is the lesson my mother taught me since childhood. A woman must always lean on a man's shoulder throughout her life. This is also the lesson she taught me. Even if a man is a withered tree, his heart riddled with pests, a woman should still cling steadily to his branches. This is what she taught me over the years. But only now do I realize that all of this was merely her way of deluding herself. She advised me like this just to prove that her own reasoning was correct. But I am not her. I never thought love was the only thing in my life. I have other things to do, for example, academics, career, or freedom. I also believe that I don't need to be a dodder clinging to a man's withered tree. I can grow into a towering tree rooted in the earth, thriving alone through wind and rain. You can also hold up a piece of the sky for yourself and for others. So, Mom, from now on, I won't be a dodder anymore. I want to be a cactus, be a sunflower, be a proud rose, or a soaring eagle. In short, the mountains are high and the road is long. With many obstacles ahead, I will definitely live my life beautifully.